Welcome to Becoming Parents Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Campbell. I'm a doula in Washoe County, Nevada, a Medicaid provider, a lactation educator, childbirth educator, and mom of 18. You can find me and connect on doulainreno.com. Remember, give a shout out to those who are brave enough to share their stories with us on how they have become parents. Let's dive in. Welcome to Becoming Parents Podcast. I'm the host, Jennifer Campbell, and I have Esther with us from Mini Maestros. I'm so excited. We scheduled this differently. This is a later release in the day, which probably no one notices but me, because you're in Australia and you're in my future right now. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Jen. I'm really excited to be here and thanks for having me.
I'm excited. I want you to share your parenting journey. Your story's really fascinating. I think it will resonate.
Yeah, sure. So I have always, since I was a child, I always wanted to be a mother. There's photos of me very small, feeding a little baby with a bottle. And I've always really, really wanted to be a mother. But my life then took a very adventurous turn after university. I studied 4 years composition, music composition at university, and then I traveled to the other side of the world to become a professional singer-songwriter. And I only meant to go for 6 months, and I was in my early 20s, and it lasted 14 years. So that journey, because I became like a professional musician, just traveling, touring. It took me all different countries, very big stages, very small stages, everything in between. It was fantastic. But the parenting journey got put in the background, and I was also waiting for the right person. There were some opportunities along the way, but they weren't right for me. Then, when I finally returned, it was time, and I was in my 30s and with my ex-partner, and we tried, but it didn't happen. And in retrospect, I'm actually glad because we were not really well suited in a lot of ways. Although it was a beautiful 14-year relationship, it was very stable. Yeah, it didn't happen for us then. And now with my new partner, I'm a stepmom. He has two children, they're 10 and 13. One's just started high school. So now I'm enjoying the the moody teenager world with that going on. They're beautiful kids though, and yeah, I've been around children my whole life. So my little brother and sister I was 10 years older when they were born. And then, so I was kind of helping raise them. And then I started a publishing house many years ago called Conscious Fiction, which is books for children and babies to help infuse them with wisdom. And then I joined Mini Maestros 10 years ago, and we work with the age group of babies to 5-year-olds. So I've just had a lot of kids in my life. And as a songwriter, I see my songs as children as well. But yeah, I'm still yet to have my own child. I'm getting a bit old now, so it's probably not going to happen, and I still need to come to terms with that. However, I'm not putting it out as no option because I can adopt or foster or whatever
Yeah,
later on. Yeah.
that's amazing. Tell me about how connected are the things that you do? You used to teach guitar lessons to kids too. Is that
Yeah,
right?
many years ago, yes,
Okay.
before Mini Maestros. Yeah.
Okay, so that's in the path. How connected is your songwriting and that career with Mini Maestros?
So I work for Mini Maestros part-time, so I've kind of got two lives. So
Okay.
at Mini Maestros, I'm Chief Marketing Officer, and it's such a fantastic company. I've been there over 10 years now. And then I've got my music career outside of that. I'm still a songwriter and I have a
Hmm.
band actually with my partner. So that's one of the things that drew us together. So football as well, soccer. So we were both presidents of our soccer clubs. And then he stalked me before we got together and said, "Oh, I'm coming over to play. I see you're a musician. I play cello." And I was like, fantastic. So I wrote a song actually immediately for cello. And now we have a band together and we play together and yeah, play soccer together and play music together.
Holy cow. That's two seemingly unrelated things. Is there a connection that people don't understand, or are they completely unrelated?
I'm not sure, but I've always known I've needed both fitness and music and
Hmm.
sport and music. I was born quite a sensitive child and an energetic child. And so I think music played a part for emotional regulation and for having a safe space to bring my emotions into songs, but sport was a very physical because I'm quite energetic. I want to do something. I want to run. Just want to be active. And yeah, they're probably more connected. I mean, I know in Mini Maestros
Yeah.
they're fully connected because we do it's music and movement classes. And so
Mm.
children learn through play and they learn very big concepts, but through their bodies. So it is a kind of sport back then, yeah.
I was thinking also if there were cognitive timing, because there's a rhythm in music and there can be in sports.
Yeah. I've
And
never thought of it like that, but yeah, yeah, that is.
well, that would be another fascinating thing to talk about in the future. I'm really interested about cognitive benefits.
Yeah.
So I came from a very musical background too. So I sang, I was in a band, I had a record contract. So I'm really
Oh,
excited
wow.
to talk about music stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to talk about the cognitive benefits. And I'm curious when we're talking about that, if there are differences in kids that have learning or disabilities. I'm thinking autism, speech
Hmm.
development, if there's been an accident or a trauma. But I know we can start out like it's brain education. So let's
Hmm.
start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, under the age of 6 is the peak of neural activity for all of us. And the synapses are just firing everywhere. And there's this great researcher, Dr. Anita Collins, who talks about it, a super sense network, that when you're doing music, it's the only activity that's actively engaging almost all areas of the brain at once in both hemispheres. And what's happening is you're creating these new neural pathways because under the age of 6, it's the most malleable that in your life as well. And this super sense network creates kind of fireworks effect that those pathways last your entire lifetime.
Mm.
And they have reaching effects beyond just what the children are experiencing. So, in the short term, the little children, you see their faces light up. They're so happy, and it's it's way beyond just yeah they're having fun doing music. It's purely their brain is being fed, their brain is expanding, their brain is connecting, so they're getting a massive almost high from this connectivity. And that's going to then, obviously, in the short term, that's helping speech development, their auditory processing, phonological skills. But then they're getting higher executive function for later on in life. And that helps with mathematics, reading, school readiness, all of those kind of things. And when it comes to children with special needs, one of the massive benefits is this emotional regulation
Mm.
because every child is at a different place in their experience of reality. And you can have an energetic child that just feels really excited, and music can really help self soothe them. They can output it out of their body by moving. They can, if they need to calm down, they can listen to lullabies, or
Mm-hmm.
you could make a playlist that just calms their nervous system down. Whereas other ones who have speech delays through song, it's proven that they can actually develop that part much faster. And they have an expression, an outlet that they didn't have before.
And you can actually see the cognitive benefits. You can observe them in children who start musical learning early.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with things like school readiness. So
Mm.
when that's a big thing here in Australia, especially they've been finding children are more restless in class. It's harder for them to concentrate. There's higher levels of ADHD, it seems, or maybe it's just more diagnosed now. And also with the rise of technology and screens, like
Mm-hmm.
that's had
Mm-hmm.
an effect. I don't think any of us realize yet how impactful that change of our reality is. Whereas when you have children who have been through our program for 5 years, they have a lot more readiness for the school situation. They're more emotionally regulated. They've got more skills in listening, being able
Mm.
to take instruction. Their development of their speech is more. They're better at mathematics just straight away. And they're also used to having structure and having that, we're used to, okay, every week we're doing the next class, and they've built confidence. So they're really confident children. That's one of the biggest outcomes we
Mm-hmm.
have because you've worked on their skills at their developmental milestones systematically. So they get more and more confident through the repetition and through the program that's been worked on for 40 years. And the outcome is confident, creative, and capable young children ready to thrive in the world and have an advantage. They definitely have an advantage.
That's amazing. I have a bunch of things I want to say. I remember when my kids were little, I had a CD collection. It was like Mozart in the morning and
Oh,
Beethoven for
yeah.
breakfast and Brahms for bedtime. And so they were designed, this was 20 plus years ago, but they
Yeah.
were designed to be the music that you would play at that time of day
Yes.
so that it helped to regulate. And we played them all the time, all the time. It was like a daily thing.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why the school system doesn't use music more. I had a cassette tape when my kids were really little, and it did every state in the United States in alphabetical order, and I can still sing most of it.
Exactly. It's
I
to
mean,
teach children things, to teach them knowledge, or if you want to teach them your address or phone number and they're only
mhm,
really young, you put it in a song and they're just
yeah,
going to it's like how jingles work in
right.
advertising.
Yeah, and I remember there was a song when I was a kid in elementary school, which was a hot minute ago, and it was like in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He sailed and sailed and sailed and sailed to find a
Yeah.
place for me and you. I
Yeah.
mean, and it never. There's a dinosaur song I remember about Stegosaurus from like it was my sister's third grade class or something
Yeah.
bizarre. Like, so I don't understand why school systems don't use more music in like math is music too. There was an
Mm.
old like Mickey Mouse or Disney video that talked about like thirds and quarters and fifths, and
Yeah.
so it broke down music into math.
Yeah.
And it's a disservice that we don't use that in our school system because kids would never forget. They would never
Absolutely.
forget. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as far as screen time, I can tell you I have an 18-year gap between my oldest and youngest, and
Yeah.
it's not the same and it's not
No.
better. It's definitely not better. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to find tons of terrible things from all of our screen time. Um,
Mm.
so you mentioned early childhood is good because the brain developed. I don't remember this number, but I know by like you said 6, there's an age that like 80% of your brain development has happened, and it's pretty young.
Mm.
Um, but that's why kids can learn languages more easily if they're in a
Yeah.
bilingual situation compared to me in my 50s trying to learn a language.
Yeah.
So is that the biggest reason, the brain development, that it's optimal to begin when they're in early childhood?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's malleable then. So the brain plasticity is also at its highest. So
Mm,
it can really create these new neural pathways. And then that lasts for their lifetime. I think I heard once, yeah, we don't finish forming our brain till 25. It's
yeah.
quite a long thing, isn't it? So,
Hmm.
yeah, but this is such a crucial time. And look, that's why I'm so passionate about getting the word out about it, because I think a lot of parents still think that music is just, it's fun. We know we like music. Most people like music. But the first experience any baby has ever had of the existence of reality is their heartbeat from inside the womb. They
Mm.
feel their mum, and that is music, that's rhythm. And so that is innate inside all of us. We're all musical, we're all born like that. And that's a big thing we have at Mini Maestros. We're not trying to create prodigies or little Mozarts. It's really about
Yeah.
holistic, whole child development. We just use music as the tool. It's just like the key rather than, okay, this is just a music program. It's more about, okay, what is proven with science now to be able to access all that part of the brain, and it happens to be music. So we're using it more as a tool, and then we have all the holistic outcomes for the children.
And what do the parents miss out on if they wait?
If they don't bring their children,
Yeah.
well, they're also the bonding moments. So it's a
Mm.
beautiful thing that parents can do. And talking about screen time again, like often parents worry that, screen time is, like you say, we don't know the outcomes yet. But the good thing with Mini Maestros is, although it's it is online,
Oh,
you're
okay.
controlling then you're controlling the quality of what screen time you're having. And with our youngest programs, you don't even need to have your baby facing the screen. So you can put it on your TV, you can face your bub towards you, and
Mm-hmm.
you're learning things from the instructor and doing it with your baby. And the great thing is, you do not need to be musical. You don't have to have
Mm-hmm.
any skills because your baby's favorite sound in the world, regardless of what you sound like, is your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, and your energy towards it. And so if you're enjoying yourself and you're getting the support from our program, you can then experience that with your little one and do it all during the day at any situation.
I
Yeah.
was going to ask you later about it being online. I figured that it was.
Yeah.
And then you've mentioned a couple times not having musical ability and
Mm-hmm.
how that is not a deterrent. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think that should be obvious, because if you like listening to music, even if you
Yeah.
can't hold a tune in a bucket, even if
Yep.
you absolutely, that's an American slang, but carry a tune in a bucket. That's the
Yeah, I
American
like
slang.
it.
Even if you're tone deaf, like you
Yeah.
cannot sing, it doesn't mean you don't like listening to music. So
No,
you would think you
exactly.
could make that connection, that it doesn't matter if the child is musical or if they're little,
No.
you don't even know if they're musical.
No, they're
To
all musical.
benefit.
They're actually all musical.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, every single child. So it's just about giving them that platform. So it's not like one's born more musical. You might have one that has obvious output resonance with it. Like you might put a pots and pans there and one
Mm-hmm.
child will just bash away and another one won't, so you think, oh, that one's more musical, but that's just what that child is choosing for its emotional regulation, where the
Mm-hmm.
other one might sit quietly and listen to music, but that what's going on is behind the scenes. We have a lot of onlooker learners that you think nothing's really going on, they're just sitting there observing, they're listening, but then they'll go home after the class and they'll act out a whole mini maestros class, or they'll start singing
Oh,
spontaneously. Like there's so much going on that, and every single child, because of that first experience of the heartbeat, and we are all musical. Even if
yeah.
you've grown up and you've had no study, there's a reason why we love music, because
Yeah.
it's just so, we've had it for centuries. It's just so innate.
And I always, when I'm not having meetings and I'm having work time, I put a timer on and I play
Yep.
whatever is the vibe in my head.
Yeah.
Um, so whatever I feel like playing at that moment for that time period, I just
Yeah.
play it in the
Yeah,
background.
exactly.
Yeah. I had
Because
a,
you'll feel something, how you want to
yes.
feel. It supports that. Yeah.
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 I had a keyboard when the kids were little. It was pretty big and I used to sit it on the floor so that they could
Yeah.
just they
Yeah.
figure out at 6 months old where the on button is, and there
Yeah.
was a demo on it, and I probably heard that demo 100,000 times, and they'd push it and then do their little
Dances. Yeah.
dance
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and play the little demo. I mean, kids really, really gravitate for it. But how do you connect the parents to believe that every child can benefit? And I get it. If you're older than 6 and you're a parent and you're sitting there, you are going to benefit from listening to it and being guided through it. But is there resistance with parents thinking that their kids are not going to benefit?
I think that just giving it a try, you'll see whether they benefit, because
Yeah.
although, like, we offer our first class for free online, so there's no commitment whatsoever. Plus, our online demand courses are so cheap. Like an in-person lesson in Australia is about $50, which is probably like 30 American dollars. But our online demand is like $49 for 10 weeks that you can do as many times as you like for a year, which is like $4.90 per lesson, which is probably like 3 American dollars for a lesson. So it's so affordable. There's not much of a risk to do that, but we offer the first one free. But when you have that special time with your little one and have that bonding moment, allow the program to do its thing and you do it together with them. All you need to do is look at how your child is at the end of that. Are they happier? Are they smiling? Are they saying, can we do it again? Do we want to play more? Your child is your best reference point of what's actually going on. And although all this brain stuff's happening, it's really comes down to the twinkle in their eye and the skip in their step at the end of it that you go, right, my child's having a good time here. And that's the most important thing when they're younger. They need to have fun, they need to play, they need to enjoy the experience, and they do that. And then in the background, they're getting all the educational benefits as well.
Mini Maestros has been around for 40 years. Like you're
Yeah.
not that old. I know you said you've been with them for 10.
Yeah.
So you start at 5 months. Is there anything about that 5 month mark? Because it's crazy. I had one of my sons was born 6 weeks premature,
Yeah.
and I signed him up for an infant learning program to bridge the gap in
Yep.
being born early. And they
Yep.
started it at 5 months also.
Yeah. So we find that in in-person classes that works well, but online we also offer a bridging one as well from you can do it even when you're growing your bubba inside, but you can do
Mm,
it from babies to 5 months. It's only a 4 lesson program. It's about exploring music with your little one, and it's for the parent and things you can do at home with your little one. So we do offer it from basically from birth or even pre-birth. But 5 months is, yeah, I'm not exactly sure because I'm not the head of the teaching department why they
mm,
chose exactly that. I know we used to have from 6 months and we changed it a few years ago, or the year before last, to 5 months. But it must be to do with also maybe their stimulation or that they're, I don't, it's not to do with sleep times. So I'm not actually sure why they've chosen that. I'm just honest. I don't know why they don't
fascinating.
let brand new in our in-person classes, that is. We have the offer
Okay.
online, but I'm just not sure. Yeah.
That's fascinating because it was the same for infant learning, and that was a
Yeah.
hands-on in person. So there, I wonder if there's
Yeah,
something
it's a good question.
connected
I'm going
there.
to find
Yeah.
that out. I'll ask
All
Jenny.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how has it changed? How has the on-demand learning changed the landscape for busy families wanting, it's probably huge.
Yeah, it's much more adaptable then because parents are so busy. The great thing is you can do this at any time when you want. So when you sign up, you get your first lesson and it drips out once a week for 10 weeks,
Hmm.
but then you have access all the time. The great thing is, unlike in-person classes, you can choose your favorite activities or your child's favorite activity and repeat it. And we know that children learn through repetition at this
Hmm.
age. And that's the wonderful thing. The other great thing is you can make it more of a family bonding moment with siblings, with grandparents who are over, and you can make it, okay, let's do something together, like a game, like an activity. We'll all jump around and be kangaroos together in this song and, have a great,
Hmm.
music party at home.
And that's kind of, that's the advantage, the main advantage over traditional methods is that it's
Yeah.
online and it can be done at any point. And once they get through the
Yeah.
10 weeks, they can bounce around anywhere and do anything that they want.
Yeah, then you just go on because it's
Hmm.
a 5-year program. You just
Oh,
you can
okay.
yeah. You'd start at term one, whatever age. We've got babies, ones, twos, threes, and fours. We've got 5 different levels, just like school. So they graduate after from 5 months all the way to 5 years. So if you started at term one, babies, you just go on to term two, and then term three, term four, then you go to
Got it.
ones on like that. Yeah.
Holy cow, that's huge. That's a massive database.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you're not trying to create little prodigies. You're not creating the next Mozart. It's not even about that at all. It's so success to you looks like what exactly?
Yeah. So, well, there may be the prodigies. This is the perfect
Yeah.
foundation for them, but it's creating creative, capable, resilient, and aware children so they're ready for the uncertain future. Because, as we know, life can throw curveballs, as it
Hmm.
has. And the outcome, no matter the skill level or the developmental hurdles that some children have had to face, they will all get more confident, they'll get more creative, they'll get more resilient, and they'll get more aware as outcomes, no matter the level. So that will be, based on their own wherever they're at. And then some will go on to learn instrumental instruments from,
Hmm.
5 or 6. I know when I taught guitar, I didn't start till 6 because they're motor skills and it's quite complicated to
Yeah.
learn a guitar. And you need also the attention span, and it's less about having fun jumping around. It's more serious. So you're setting them up for if they want to take a musical path, they have the perfect foundation because in our classes, we are also introducing musical terms like prezzo, piano, forte. We're
Okay.
introducing all different genres of music. So we have different languages, we have different backgrounds to the songs. We have, yeah, it's just phenomenal, honestly, the program. Children end up with the perfect building blocks for even if it's just to get school readiness or even if they want to continue music. Yeah, it's a perfect outcome.
I love that. That's so incredible. So there's research, there's probably a lot of research. So I'm sure that the understanding of early childhood music and the education, and I'm sure that that has evolved. And then
Yeah.
also the most effective ways to introduce it. So can you dive into some of the research a little bit?
Yeah, so there's this great author and researcher, Dr. Anita Collins. She's amazing. She's the one who talks about this super sense network and
Mm,
the malleability and the fireworks effect. And I think we've known at Minimart, yes, we've been going for 40 years. We've known intuitively that there's great outcomes just through witnessing the children. But it's just now that the science is actually catching up. And there's a lot of research out there just about all of these outcomes that are happening within the brain networks that are connected. So I don't know any studies offhand, like I can just
hmm.
reference them like this, but there's certainly, if you just look online, brain development in early childhood through music, you will see there's more and more studies coming out all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And then what do you do to ensure families, first of all, this is online, so it's open worldwide,
Yep.
that
Yep.
there's that's not a barrier at all.
Yep.
And then how do they, regardless of location, well, location obviously, but what about budget?
Yeah, so we have the first class is for free, so you can just try it. But we also, you can pay in three lots rather than for one term, it's $49. But then you can
Oh,
also pay three lots of $20 instead, if that's easier for you. Yeah.
wow. That's, hang on, I'm gonna sneeze, I can feel it.
Okay.
That's incredible though that you have it broken down and it's only $49.
Yeah, for one term, that's for 10 lessons. So that's Australian dollars, that's
Oh, okay.
which is only probably $30 for you.
Oh, sounds like we're getting a discount in America.
It does. It's good when you convert it that way.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that sounded better for me. Is there, I know you have two separate businesses. Do you feel like there's a connection between your songwriting and you talked about how you, like when you're writing music, it's like birthing that song, which I
Hmm.
can relate to. It's
Yeah.
very emotional.
Yeah.
Um, you've authored 12 books also. I just want to shout that out real quick.
Oh, yeah. I've written some children's books and also self-help book for adults was my last one for empathic people.
Uh,
And
okay.
yeah, and another one for teenagers. Oh, it's actually early 20s for called November Fox. That was a sci-fi fantasy. Which to me, the book writing and even the children's books I've done are almost like, because I've been a songwriter all my life, they were just, which is the same kind of thing. It's just another format. So I'm still an author. I did an authoring of songs, but then when I moved it to book, it's similar. It's sort of just the words in a way, I felt like. Although the long books are like really long songs, but it's a similar process.
Yeah, I would think that it would be a similar process. I was going
Yeah.
to ask you about, because in your information it said you had a business serving empaths. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
What?
I
Tell
am.
me about that.
Yeah, so I have a podcast and a TikTok channel, Empath Unplugged, and because I've been a very sensitive person my whole life, and I've needed music actually. Music's been my saving grace, to be honest, because I had a lot of emotions, and when you have ups and downs as a child, you need a place to put them. And so I was taken out of class every day to this special music program. I happened to be very fortunate to be in kindy when it started. And then I became a songwriter at 13 and kept writing from then and went on to study university. And then I realized, I mean, I created a few theories in my 20s about how to regulate my emotions through holistic well-being. And then in the last years, I created an empath brand because I realized that my theories and the outcomes were really tailored for sensitive people like me, where music is a part for me. That's a definite massive key in
Hmm.
towards my emotional regulation and mental health and just holistic well-being. Yeah, so I wrote a book about my theories called The 1, 2, 3 Theory, An Empath's Guide to Thriving in Life, Love and Work. And even the November Fox sci-fi fantasy is based on those theories as well. And yeah, I'm doing a bit of a relaunch at the moment in that where I'm going to have some courses online and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely connected. And I guess the bridge between Mini Maestros and my music, it's because, I mean, I know from the inside out just how powerful music has been for me and what it led me to. And I had music from a very young age. So I'm very passionate about helping as many children have that same experience as possible. That's why we've made it as affordable as possible, as accessible as possible, and putting it out into the world so that more children can have this foundation and this outlet and, yeah, all the brain benefits.
Just fascinating to me how many different things you've done and how I it feels so connected.
Mm,
And
yeah.
maybe it's not intentionally, but from teaching guitar to children, to writing books for children, to mini maestros, even though it's been the last 10 years of your career, it's I feel like there are a lot of different threads that are common throughout it.
Yeah.
So I think that that's always really exciting. We have all of your show notes, all of the links to everything. What encouragement can you give to parents? Because you've made this affordable and available, and there's science backing it. It makes a huge, significant difference. I love that you talk about how it changes when kids enter school. It
Mm,
changes their confidence level,
yeah.
which is
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah.
What advice or recommendation or suggestion would you give parents wanting to jump in and try this?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely just give it a try because it's the best thing you can do to invest in your child's success because you're literally rewiring their brain for success in all of the departments. So for what you're putting in, the time and money, the outcome is just huge. So it's just really understanding that especially this period until 6 years old, that is so crucial for looking at out the outcomes that can last a lifetime. So if you can just give it a try and then see the little smiles on on those faces, they literally light up. At the children who attend Mini Maestros in person here, it's the highlight of their week, and they come skipping in and they just want more, more, more. Well, that's why it's great. They get online as well, so they do that between classes because they can't get enough. Once they're getting their brain fed and they're dancing and they sing the songs and yeah, you just the outcome is obvious when you look at your child.
So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you so much. This was really fun.
Thank you so much for having us and me.